Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Let's Talk Bets. I'm your host, Matt Larrison, joined, as always, by Mr. Tanner. No
What's up,
Scott
everybody?
today. How are you doing, man?
Good, I'm good. Excited for another week of sports. Brewers clinched last night. Thanks, Suzuki, for not knowing how to catch a fly ball on the lights. Appreciate Nick and his Cubs on that. So, I'm excited for that. And we had, big news today as well this afternoon, Matt, we got to talk about.
Yeah. If you're going in the direction I'm thinking you're going, basketball, is that what you were going to say?
That's right.
Yeah. That's definitely going to change some things for this upcoming NBA season. The Bucks have always been, I've always felt like they've been missing something, and it looks like Damian Lillard is that something. Now I'm very scared of them as a Celtics fan now. Before I wasn't as much. Giannis is a great player, but that is an unstoppable duo. I expect them to win at least 65 games in the regular season.
I agree. They've already updated the team futures for the NBA title, and Milwaukee has taken the reign now at plus 360. Actually, no. Milwaukee was favored to begin with at plus 390 it opened with. Boston plus 500. And now Milwaukee at plus 360 on FanDuel, and then plus 490 as well for Boston. So, that this might even change coming in the next few days, even more to maybe in the plus 320s to plus 32 high 280s for Milwaukee.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I think that this is what they've, Drew Holiday, Giannis, and now Dame Lillard, along with the core that they've had. It's a team that's been pretty consistent. They've stayed, pretty much the same team for a long time, kind of like the Celtics have. I like the Celtics still too, but I think the odds are right. Putting Milwaukee at the top. It's good odds right now too. I think that's a pretty decent number to get that. As long as Giannis can stay healthy, I think that's really the biggest thing. If he goes down at any point in the playoffs, it's just doomsday.
Well, that's the thing now. He shouldn't have to put everything on his back.
Right.
If you get Dame time, that's the whole key of leaving Drew Holiday out of the roster. Is to put Dame time in to allow Giannis to be able to go at it and not having to worry about having to put 30 points on his back, where he can put up a 20, 10 and 10 or something that matter, without having to lose the game versus past years where Giannis had to put up the 30, 15 and 8 or whatever you want to say into play. And because Middleton is always spotty. Everybody thinks he's really good. Don't get me wrong. He's good, but he's a very spotty for it to be a number 2. Very spotty.
Yeah, no, he is definitely, I wouldn't say he's a role player, but he's definitely in the mix for that, closer than he is a number 2.
Correct.
And well, good for Dame Lillard, I got to say that, aside from the betting
out of Portland.
This poor guy has been a superstar his whole career, and now he finally has a chance to at least sniff the playoffs. He'll definitely be able to do that. So,
and Phoenix finally got rid of their 2 weaknesses on their team as well for the Suns. They got rid of Chris Paul earlier in the offseason. They got rid of Chris Paul, and then they also got rid of DeAndre Ayton in this big mega deal, who ends up in Portland. So, I mean, that's massive for Phoenix, because Ayton, we saw him disappear both years in the playoffs with him, and that's huge to get rid of him. Now you're able to rebuild, get that contract off the books, and now be able to actually get something hopefully down low on top with that team.
Yeah, it's too bad. I'm a big DeAndre Ayton fan. I really liked him coming out, and he definitely has underperformed.
Big time.
Well, Tanner, we don't have Scott today, but I wanted to go over how we did last week. We were kind of all right around in the middle of the pack. The 2 ones I missed were, I missed the Dallas-Arizona under by a half a point, which was heartbreaking. What a crazy game, by the way. Wow.
That's the worst.
Took the victory on the Philly, the Eagles, the Niners under, but then, and Florida State beat Clemson. That was a great game. Fantastic game. But I lost NC State. NC State's got a horrible offense, and Virginia they were able to survive. They had no chance of winning the game, but they survived. Yeah. And the under. So I didn't do too bad. You pretty good. McCaffrey rushing attempts, solid. Air Force over, solid. That was they almost did the over by themselves.
I know, right? That was close for just for them.
Louisville showed up. They destroyed
Hey,
BC.
you said Louisville should come in and blow them out, which I was
Yep.
like, hey, they should, but I mean, will they? And man, they came in firing right away.
Tennessee got just
What?
masterclass.
Yeah, poor Sam, man. His team
I
that was a win. That was a decent competitive game. It should have been, and man, they just let Deshaun just take over.
Well, and I thought that the Nick Chubb losing him, the effect of that was going to be more severe, but the Browns did pretty well. I got to give them
Nope.
credit.
Their defense did really well too.
Yeah, that defense it's different than the years before. It was good before, but it's a lot different now. I think that they kind of have a better system, and they're kind of more well rounded. And then the half a point killed us on the 2.5 for the Rams. I mean, we really had that game in the bag, but that half a point hurt us.
What? I'm trying to figure out what the Bengals are doing right now. Like, what are we doing? Like, you got to hurt Burrow. I know you're desperate for a W, but why are we starting him? Like, I expected him to be out. That's why I was like, Rams plus 2.5 come Monday night. Like, surely Burrow's going to be out because you're not going to want to risk a guy at week 3 for your franchise, for your season. Week 3 against a healthy Rams defense. But no, they they let Burrow play, and he didn't look good moving. He took some licks, but he stayed in there, played hurt. Rodgers said he texted him afterwards, say, hey, that's what we do. That's what good players do. But man, I was pretty bummed. I texted my buddy Mike, who I'll be on later with. I was like, if Burrow plays, my easy money bet's out the window. And sure enough, here comes Burrow, and they didn't make much of a game of it, but they did enough because the Rams offense wasn't going to be exploding as much on that defense.
Yeah. Well, this is probably a hot take, but I think Zach Taylor was worried about his job. I think if he went 0-3, so. And I think that, I think Burrow's a great quarterback. The schedule's tough. That division is tough with the Browns doing what they're doing. So even with Burrow back, they probably were going to lose some games, and being 0-3 while he was out, they might have missed the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the fuel for Taylor to be like, look, is there any way you can go? And they can say all they want that that's not the case, but these guys are looking ahead and thinking about that. And Burrow is a competitor, absolutely. So I thought the Rams played well, though.
Yeah, I mean, for the Bengals don't look like superstars by any means, right? T. Higgins, very disappointing. He had, I think it was 8 targets, 2 receptions. He ended up with, he absolutely did zilch with his opportunities, dropped a couple balls. Chase looked decent. Mixon looked decent. But, I mean, it didn't look like the kind of team that comes in year out, is always competitive, winning stuff. Now, it's early, right? Usually after week 5, you can really start seeing the difference between these, playoff eligible teams, who's going to be contenders, who's not. But man, they don't look good right now.
Well, and something I noticed with the offensive line too, it's not giving a good pass protection. You notice a lot of the plays they're running right now are quick 5-yard passes, obviously because they don't want Burrow to get involved in any type of aftermath. But also, it doesn't look like the offensive line is holding very well, and that's going to be interesting to see in the few weeks when Burrow's healthier and he can maybe scramble out of the pocket or make more plays than just those short yardage, which is why the Bengals offense I think is hurting. But I will give credit to Joe Mixon. Much better than last season. He has looked much better. They got to rely on him. They got to use him more. I think that's their key to keeping a balance for sure. But we were sad. Scott also picked the Rams plus 2.5. He scored big on the Giants under. Good kudos to that. Air Force minus 3.5. That was a easy one. Arizona under 15.5 total points. That's fooled us all, folks. Dallas was the ultimate chokers of the century. And then Liberty FIU, that game just barely missed 52.5. I think it was at 46 or 48. So those are some sharp lines. So we weren't too far off. We had a couple of doozies, but other than that,
not horrendous for our first overall as a group.
So it's time for us to bounce back, and I'll go first. Thursday, Jacksonville State is taking on Sam Houston State. And do you know what the average points scored for Sam Houston State is so far this year?
I don't.
3.
3?
They scored 3, an average of 3 points a game. And I think they played 4 games this year already. Their most points was a touchdown. last game, not against a good team. They're not playing good teams. Jacksonville State's one of the better teams out of this conference. Both of these teams have just come into the Division I area.
Oh my!
But I'm taking the -6.5 and I'm running with it. I'm really surprised it's that low with how bad Sam Houston State's been. Defensively, Sam Houston State's not too bad. The final score for the Air Force game was 14-3. So they have an okay subpar defense, but boy, that offense is poor. So I'm going to go -6.5 with Jayville.
Now, Sam Houston State is 2-1 against the spread currently this season, despite their 10 points they've scored this season. They are 2-1 against the spread.
They did well against Air Force. I think that was the beginning of Air Force this season where they were getting things figured out. But I just think as time has gone on, I like the touchdown. I mean, if they score 2 touchdowns to Sam Houston State, can they score 2 touchdowns? I don't know. Can they score 1? I don't know.
All you kind of need, I mean, if Jacksonville can just put some points on the board, you're fine. That's all you got to do.
Then I'm going to go Louisville -3.5 against NC State. I think we figured out Louisville, and I think we figured out NC State. Louisville, offensive juggernaut. NC State, good defense. One of the worst offenses in college football. I don't think they can keep up with Louisville. I think Louisville has a good enough defense to stop NC State from scoring, multiple touchdowns. So all Louisville really needs is probably three touchdowns and a field goal. I think 24 points probably seals the deal for them. And you looked at NC State last week against Virginia. It was not a good showing. They survived. So give me Louisville. I think the 3.5, I'm really surprised. The line did just move up a half a point today. It was at 3, but I just think Louisville's probably going to rout these guys.
I like that one because you got, if you look at the history here, just the season alone, NC State's 0-4 against the spread. And so Louisville's 2-2. I'd take the 0-5 coming into NC State this week.
Agreed. Then I got Georgia -14 against Auburn. I think the line just moved up another half a point for the Bulldogs. Auburn is not a good team. Yeah, they're 3-1, but if you look at their wins, not against quality teams. They just got beat by Texas A&M, and it wasn't close. Dominant performance by the defense for Texas A&M. And Georgia, this is even when they've struggled so far this season, South Carolina is a good example. 14-point victory. I'm going to take the 14. I think that the defense of Georgia is just too good. They really got to start figuring out their offense before they start playing somebody because it's going to be a problem for Georgia. But I don't think it's going to be a problem against Auburn. And I'm really actually surprised that the line is at 14 right now. I really am shocked about that. And maybe it's because Auburn's at home, but give me 14 for Georgia. I'll take it.
Well, you had South Carolina only score or with a -26 line, right, for Georgia. They only won by 10.
It was 10. I'm sorry. Yeah, 10.
So yes, what I meant. Sorry, but that's that's kind of where I think the line why it's so low right now is why it's -14 or at -14 because they're having issues covering 20 in the 20s for point spreads against teams they should be blowing out. They have not looked good at all. But Auburn last week in SEC play, they looked horrendous. And like you said, if Georgia can just figure out what the hell they're doing offensively, they're going to destroy these guys.
Yeah. And I really think South Carolina is much better than Auburn. I think that's why I love this even more.
Yeah.
Is if they can beat them by 10, which they should have beaten by more, I think they just absolutely rout Auburn. It's a 3-1 team that should not be 3-1. They've just played nobody. So give me the Bulldogs with that one. Kansas City -9.5 against the Jets. I just think this one's easy. Until they decide that they cannot use Zach Wilson at quarterback. People talk about Mahomes and the Chiefs a lot. As a Chiefs fan, you know this. They don't talk about the defense. That the Chiefs defense is not a joke. Like they're
awesome, very
opportunistic. They're going to sack Wilson probably 5 times or more. It's just really sad to see. I actually feel horrible for Jet fans that they have to go through this season. And and I'm not saying trade for Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying do all these crazy things because you will probably get Rodgers back next season. But to just keep throwing Wilson out there. I mean, there are guys in the free agency that would do better tomorrow than Zach Wilson. So until that changes, I'm going to take the Chiefs. 9.5 points. Chiefs don't win by 9.5 points. There's a problem. I'm actually surprised the line's not higher. And it must be because of the Jet defense and they're in the Meadowlands, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It could be part of prime time as well, but I mean the Chiefs' offense has finally opened up last week against the Bears. Granted, it is the Bears, but that was a game that needed to happen for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and with that offense. I don't think there was any drops. I don't believe, maybe one, but there wasn't the same issues that you had the first 2 weeks, and that now you got the momentum going into with versus New York Jets offense that's horrendous. You still might be missing Nick Bolton, your star linebacker for the Chiefs this weekend, but it doesn't matter because you got the depth to beat these guys. The offense can't move anything, and the implosion is beginning in New York.
Yeah, I agree. And Alan, I'm all here for the puns, so keep them coming. And another big thing about the Chiefs too, and maybe you could call them, Tanner, because you're a fan. Can they please use Jerick McKinnon more? I mean,
no,
you disagree.
I mean, they used him fine. He had 2 touchdowns last week.
I know, but prior to that,
you don't want to use the guy too early, right? He's on, he's not an every down back. He's not a guy you play a game for 20 attempts or anything. But I think they're using him sparingly, and that's what they did last year. Using sparingly beginning of the year, but after week 8, week 9, then you'll see the increase come into play. Clyde will get hurt. They'll have to get up Prince, and it's just clockwork, right? And right. McKinnon, the last half of the season will be monstrous. But that's what they do. They sparingly use McKinnon only in certain situations when they have to early on the season because you don't want the guy hurt. He is a great running back when it comes playoff time to have in your back pocket. That's why you don't want to use McKinnon right now as a Chiefs fan. As a fantasy football fan, I'm sure you do because I was playing against him and I was like, he's going to go for 30 today, isn't he? Because I'm going to lose this game. But he only went for 19 points, so it's all right.
Yeah. I have him in fantasy, so that might be where I'm coming from with that. But I think he's just
right. There has to be some kind of personal effect, right?
Exactly. He's just a really good pass catching running back, and I think that if they want to elevate the offense, no, he doesn't have to run. Just keep him out for passing downs. I think that's a huge success for them, especially as they try to figure out what receivers to use besides Kelsey, of course. Rashee Rice did play pretty well. He's kind of fitting into that.
He looked good. He had opportunity, right? So, I mean, he looked good. Watson, of course, will still be a main target for Mahomes. As much as some Chiefs fans don't want Justin Watson to be the guy, he's going to be out there. He's going to get the ball thrown to him a lot still. So just beware if you're out there in the fantasy world or looking at prop bets, look for those low numbers on Watson and maybe take the over if it's really low there. So.
Yeah. Mahomes, I call him Inspector Gadget because he loves gadgets instead of.
You just never know. You never know who's going to get the ball. That's why you can't pick Chiefs players during fantasy football outside of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes because you don't know who's going to get what. You don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Last one I got, Seattle money line versus the Giants. Folks, Giants are just not good. They're not good. Barkley, even if he's back, he's probably not going to be 100%. I just don't think they have the playmaking weapons. And actually the bigger problem for the Giants right now is their defense. They don't make stops. They give up long drives. It's just not a recipe for success. Seattle, they're starting to pick it up. I mean, offensively, they picked it up great last weekend. So actually a pretty good Carolina defense. I expect that to continue. I'm surprised the line is straight right now. I would have expected Seattle to at least be a 3-point favorite. I get they're not at home, but I'm loving it. I'll take the money line.
I don't get it. I don't get why they're not favored to begin with. I love this, though. Easy bet to make.
Yeah. Well, let's run through Scott's here. Since he wasn't able to be with us, he thought he'd still sprinkle some of his magic here. Western Kentucky minus 5.5. I believe they're playing Middle Tennessee State.
They got I got it pulled up here. So they got Middle Tennessee matchup here. Western Kentucky's 2-2 and against the spread. Middle Tennessee is 1-3. But you got one dominant offense versus another okay. I think they're okay. I don't think they're bad by any means, but I think they're okay offense. But I mean, Western Kentucky should be able to really run things up here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be probably a high-scoring game too. So look at the over. But I don't disagree with Scott on that one. OSU is not Ohio State. That is Oregon State. That was the way I put the acronym, so my apologies. But Oregon State minus 3.5 against Utah. I'm going to disagree with Scott here, only because I have gone with against Utah twice, and they have screwed me 2 times so far this year. They're a very unpredictable team, but they're being successful. They're 4-0 with all the injuries they have. Great team. I don't know. Rising might be back this week. I still like Utah, but what do you think?
I do. If you look at their head-to-head last year, Utah destroyed these guys 42-16. And yes, Oregon State's playing way better than they did last year. I think they're going to run in now to a real team that has been competitive for the last 3 years. And now you got Utah, a little bit more established program of where it's at in football world these days. And they're going to have an issue. They're going to have an issue here. I don't agree with the Oregon State at -3.5. I think it's what we would consider a trap game if you're leaning that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Scott, you're not here to defend yourself, but
he's wrong. He's wrong.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest reason for me is just I'm not a DJ Uyunglele fan. I don't think that he.
Correct.
I mean, they played well against Washington State, but is Washington State, as they are playing well right now, are they Utah? I just don't think so. I think Utah's defense is way different than what Oregon State's seen. So give me Utah. Air Force -10 against San Diego State. Yeah, take that to the bank, folks. San Diego State is going to get walloped against Air Force. If you watch Air Force, which I did last week because I did bet on them, I was wanted to see what the hype was. This team, best triple option offense I've seen in probably the last decade. They're fast. They're averaging like 8 yards a carry. It's just head and shoulders above the competition that they get to face in their conference. So
they run it down your throats. They tire you out on defense and run it down your throats.
The best part about their triple option offense is it's not straight through the middle always either. They are really good at getting it to the outside, which a lot of triple options have a hard time doing. And it's just amazing to watch. So I'm going to take Air Force. I'll check the over, but I might even take that just because they just score points. They're just so good with the points.
What is the over here? Let's see here. Air Force over under 43.5.
Yeah, that
43.5.
That one's going in Matt's pocket for sure.
Oh wait, you can get it on FanDuel for 42.5.
Yeah, I mean, I expect San Diego State to probably score 10, and if you don't think Air Force is going to drop 35 on them, and that's the thing, people are worried because they run triple option, they run the clock. It's not a traditional triple option where you get 3 or 4 yards a carry. They're averaging 8 yards a carry, so they're getting first downs either on the first or second down. So. And they do mix in some throws, and they're successful with that. So AFU is just they might go. If you look at their schedule, they might only lose 1 game this year. It's kind of at that point for them.
You're
so
right.
It'll be interesting to see. They're definitely winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. So if you can bet on that, I would definitely take them. Army's not even gonna. They're not gonna stand a chance. And Navy's just putrid this year. So I'm all for that. He's right with us. KC -9.5. No need to.
Yeah.
Beat a dead horse. Giants under 24. I don't know if I agree with this. I would probably say that they aren't going to score 24, but Seattle's the kind of team where they could. And
they want to give up. Yeah. I mean, this isn't a dominant defense by any means they're going against either. If Saquon's back, this is in trouble bet too.
Well, Seattle wants to score 42, and they don't care that they give up 28. That's the kind of team they are, and they showed that last week against Carolina. So again, Scott, sorry you're not here to defend yourself, but we're going to ride against you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I trust any New York Giant totals this week. So,
yeah. Well, Tanner, you get to defend yourself now. I've got Laporta over 4.5 receptions. I did put the number on there because it is plus odds, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Green Bay traditionally is pretty decent against the tight end, but Laporta is he's fixated in this offense now.
They haven't faced a real tight end yet this season, right? Laporta's been 5 receptions and over every game this season so far, with an 8 burger last week. Look, if you don't think Goff is going to be looking for Laporta's way, then go back and do some more research because that's where he loves. I told you guys Sam Laporta beginning of the season before it even started. Laporta was the guy there, and Laporta will continue. I think this is a steal of a bet at plus 120. Over 4.5 receptions.
Yeah, Vegas is going to catch on to Laporta probably after this week. I think they'll probably bump that to 5 or 6.5 after
That's
this.
what I'm thinking. A minimum of 5 or 6. I mean, when you get into tough situations, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking it's gonna be like 9, but I think he gets over the 4.5.
Yeah, I agree. So you've got Utah plus 2.5 in the first half. What about the first half?
I actually want to change that. I need to change that. I texted you out right afterwards, but
Ooh.
I want to change Utah money line in the first half. Because that was, what was it? It was like minus 108 or plus money. Let's see here. Yeah, first half plus 130 money line in that. I think Utah, like we talked about already against Oregon State, I think you're gonna see a little bit different ball game playing against Utah, and I think Utah has the lead going into half. So I think that's a nice little bet. You don't have to wait the whole game, and you get to see the results early because that's the way a lot of these teams like to play.
Yeah, I like that. I think that Utah wins outright. Unfortunately, Oregon State's not quite at that level for the Pac-12, so
Right.
take that. I'm taking that one. I'm not taking this one though. Duke plus 6 versus Notre Dame, and it's not my fandom. Notre Dame is going to come out hot. They're going to come out hot this weekend.
I'm curious on this one. This is a Ohio State game just happened, right? A big matchup here. I think you can't discount the way Duke's playing right now. They're beating the teams they're blowing them out in a way, right? They're covering the spread. They're out there playing really, 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 really good football. And now you go against a Notre Dame team that just had all the emotion, all the hype, college game day in South Bend. And now you got to go play against another great team of Duke this year so far. And Duke has a lot to prove against this team here. I'm not saying they win, but I say they keep it close. And I think it's a high scoring ball game in this one that Duke can keep up with a Notre Dame team. Give me the plus 6.
I think it would be I think it'll be a higher scoring game, 35-28. So I like
something in that range.
I like the 6 for Notre Dame just because I think it'll be a touchdown. I don't think Notre Dame blows them out by any means, but I think Notre Dame gets focused. They stay on task. Yeah, Duke's going to give them everything they've got. I mean, this is probably their most important game besides the ACC championship game if they can get there. So, and Clemson, I mean, they were probably pretty pumped for that one. That was a big deal.
I mean, like I said, it's a team that has something to prove versus a team that just kind of had to prove something last week, didn't make it happen. Now they got to try to prove it again. Now the emotions is all I'm basing this off of here.
This is the second biggest game for Marcus Freeman this year because he's got Duke, Louisville, then USC, and I know he's thinking about that USC game, but he's got two no slouches coming up. Duke and Louisville are both. Yeah. Louisville, if they win this week, will probably be ranked next week. So he's got 2 top 25 teams he's got to play before he sees USC. And he's got to win outright if he wants to make the playoff at this point, losing to Ohio State, which is not a bad loss by any means, especially, they had 10 men on the field for that last play. So, you could argue things, but which was a blunder, but, the game was literally to the last play. So as long as Ohio State does well and they win outright, that's going to make Notre Dame look even better. But they got to win. They got to win every single game.
Got to win.
And it's going to be very interesting. Buffalo, Miami over 53.5. I think I'm fine with this. I usually am an under guy, but I just think Miami gives up a lot of points and Buffalo can score. And Miami's offense right now is just unbelievable. So I just think the over is just destined.
last 2 matchups head to head last year were both over the 53 mark. So, I mean, if they're going to come out firing, Bills have figured out their offense now. They have a little bit of momentum going in this game. Obviously, the blowout against the Donkeys with the Dolphins there, they figured out their offense. Tua's looking really good. I mean, I have a feeling this thing's going to be a shootout. I don't think the Dolphins' defense is that great. I know the Bills' defense isn't that great, but they're going to come out and they're going to be firing each other. And it's going to be if you're looking for an entertaining scoring game, this is the game to watch. Yeah,
and as a Bills fan, I'm praying for the correct outcome, but it is going to be wild.
It's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be for you as a Bills guy. It's going to be a very emotional one because you're going to get the highs, the lows, and everything else on it.
Just when you think you've got it, they're going to score 14 in 3 seconds. You got to contain Tyreek Hill if you're Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. you got to hold Tyreek Hill down if you're Buffalo, and I would take probably his over receiving yards.
Waddle's looking to play now. This week he's already back, so I mean, you're getting the weapons. I think that's kind of why Waddle also sat out with his concussion. Right? Is hey, let's get healthy. We got a big matchup coming up next week.
Agreed, and we agree on Seattle money line as well.
Yes, it's money. It's cake.
All three of us might eat some crow if the Giants show up this Monday, but we will.
It'd be the one time, right? It would be the one time they actually show up to play against a good team.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Dayball, but I don't for Daniel Jones, and that's why I think they're not a good team. Is
correct.
He's just very limited. Alan, we'll give you a shout out here. He's got some things: Packers plus 1.5, BYU plus 2, Kansas plus 16.5, Ravens Browns under. So the one I like is BYU. I do like BYU this week. I like the Lions.
Oh, Cincy? Yeah, I like that one. Plus 2.5, plus 2.5, plus 2. Yeah, I like that one.
I like the Lions to win on Thursday. I think they're just the better team. It's just too close. I mean, if it was like Packers plus 7 or something, like I like the touchdown. I always feel comfortable with that on the team who was maybe the dog. But Lions win that one probably by 3 or more. So Kansas, I've been going back and forth about this one. I know we were going to talk about it later, but man, Kansas, I want to say they're going to take it plus 16.5, but is this the year that Texas doesn't play games close and they just dominate? I just don't know.
It's the only nice part. It's earlier in the year, right? So that's the nice part of it because there's momentum on both sides. Versus last year, it was later in the year, in the season, and I got to go to that game and watch the manslaughter that it was with Bijan just running around. Look, I'm not saying KU has a chance to really take care of things here. This is a circle game on their calendar. Like,
right.
Hey, this is a big game. This is where we got to come out. I don't think. Look, I'm a Jayhawks fan, and I've been a Jayhawks fan through the horrendous stuff. I think it's a competitive game, but I think Texas pulls away late, possibly wins by a touchdown or 3 touchdowns. So I'm not touching this thing.
Yeah. I think it could be a competitive game until the very end, and then they could get a garbage time touchdown and make it 21, So that's why I've been weary.
Right.
But I would not be shocked if Kansas loses by 14. I think that they are good enough to potentially do that. So it is a stay away game for me. I'm just not sure.
Number 24, coming into play.
Were you a fan? Were you a fan during the Charlie Weiss years, Tanner?
Yes. I've been. So basically, I've been a football fan for KU for, as long as I've been a basketball fan, which is, my life. But I really started following football, of course, when we started winning. I was like, hey, kind of forget we had a football team till then, Mangino years. And then the Charlie Weiss years happened. I go, oh, yeah, this is why I forgot we had a football team till Mangino years. So that was pretty rough. This whole thing was pretty rough till now. And now we're starting to come back. We're actually investing into football, so that's where it makes it fun.
Yeah, he needed Brady Quinn that time.
That was bad.
Ravens Browns under. I don't know what the number is, but I probably would take it.
Let's see.
Both teams are defensive minded, so if it's over 41, 42, I'd probably take it.
Ravens Browns are sitting at 40.5. So it looks like let's see what the line history has been. Current line over, so 40.5 is your current line.
Yeah, I'd take the under. I really would. I just think both teams are so defensive minded, and really the Ravens have so many injuries.
This
right
should
now.
Be an under game. A game I'm not touching because I have a feeling this thing could easily spiral out to a 21-24 ball game.
Yeah,
just out of nowhere kind of thing.
Yeah, I lean towards the under, but it is too close for me. I probably would buy some points on the under. All right. Let's run through the slate here, Tanner.
Oh, there we go. All right. We got to pull up. Let me lower up a little bit.
We're actually getting some decent Thursday college football. I know it doesn't look like it because of what's on the board, but there are some good bets for Thursday for college football this week. There are actually some better ones than on Saturday. So for starters, the Lions, Packers, it's a straight pick 'em with how close the line is. I just like the Lions. I just think that, Jones is still banged up. He probably will play. but I think that the Lions. I think the Packers got figured out last week. They did get the win. Good for them. Carr going down just changed the entire game. But I just don't think that they're, at a level that is at the Lions level. The Lions should be 3-0 right now. They just gave the game away to Seattle 2 weeks ago.
They did.
The offense is humming. I think the pass rush is going to be there against Love. I just like the Lions money line. I don't know about the over-under because Lions can score, but 46, I probably would still go with the under. I mean, it's Thursday night football. The unders usually hit on Thursday nights, so.
And there's not a lot of prop bets out still on a Wednesday. Just trying to see what's out there, see your completions, 22.5 for Goff, 33.5, in pass.
What's the passing yard? I take the under on that.
49.5. Yeah. I don't think he gets quite to that on that. TD passes 1.5, maybe. I could see two touchdown passes in this game.
I would take that. And if you notice, without Montgomery, Gibbs isn't getting a lot of red zone work. They're going to pass it in the red zone. That's the tight end plays. Laporte at anytime touchdown is very plausible, I think.
Yep, I think so on that one. See here, pass attempts. What is our passing yards for Love? 227.5 for Jordan Love at -114 is the best odds.
They've been throwing a lot. Love had a lot of yards last week. I would take the over on that. And I think against the Lions, that's probably what they'll plan on doing as well.
Josh Reynolds over 30.5 receiving yards at -120.
Yeah, he got 0 last week, so I think he is definitely going to have a better game this week.
I would think so too. And then we can look at mine here, the receptions part. Over 4.5 plus 130 on DraftKings currently. Something I feel pretty strong about. Receiving yards 42.5. I kind of looked at this also as an over in this one here at -110 on BetMGM. So it's there's some out there, but nothing too crazy at the moment there.
Yeah, I like the money line for the Lions.
Yeah, I like I got the -1. I got -1.5 on there with a no sweat bet on DraftKings. So,
yeah, I think that's fine. Let's see. Out of the 3 games here, I still like Jacksonville State the most. I just think that the 6.5 is fine. The under, 36.5, I wouldn't take that. I just think it's too close. But it's very possible that could be under, just with Sam Houston State and how poor their offense is.
Could be.
But if it's 35-3, you lost. So
yeah,
take the 6.5. That's the easy bet.
It's pretty low, But I think it's good games, luckily. But Tulsa takes care of this one.
Tulsa takes care of business against Temple too, being at home.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Yeah, not too bad. Let's take a look at Friday's slate here. Obviously, we talked to Cardinals already in the North Carolina State Wolfpack game.
Oh, I completely forgot. Louisiana Tech, money line, straight through. UTEP is a 1-point favorite still, I think. I don't know how. Blows my mind. UTEP is terrible. Terrible. I would take Louisiana Tech all day long, either the +1.5 if you want that, or just the straight money line. I think that's an easy bet this week.
-105 on DraftKings for the money line.
Yeah, that's basically double money. So,
yeah, that's true there. We kind of already talked Utah. We talked Louisville. The only other interesting game is Cincinnati at the moment.
Yeah, they did. They actually played well against Oklahoma. 20-6 was the final score. They just couldn't score on what is a really good Oklahoma defense. Oklahoma hasn't seen a defense in a while, so a lot of teams don't realize that. So they played well, though. I thought they played better than expected. But I like BYU, actually. At home. Beat an SEC team already this year. I think that's easy. Yep. I think I'd take BYU with the points.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I don't know why Cincy's so favored in this game. They haven't looked good all year. With the their team BYU has come out and at least been competitive for most of it. So and
the
won
fact
a couple
that BYU,
games.
the fact that BYU is a home underdog is really surprising to me.
It is. It is. That's very surprising. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, our Utah game where I talked about Louisville, there's some actual decent slate before Saturday, which is kind of nice to see.
I'm waiting for the Mac Tech to come back on Wednesdays. That's what I need.
It'll arrive soon enough. Soon enough here. So we got
All right, let's
Saturday
see.
coming into play. Here's an interesting one. This Gators Kentucky game, right? Undefeated Kentucky going against the Gators. Gators with some, momentum from the Tennessee series a couple weeks ago there. What to pick them.
I go back and forth. I really do. I think the
do you
over
trust
is gonna...
Kentucky to win? You know what I mean? Like, do you trust Kentucky to take care of business when they should? Because I don't.
I like over 44 because I think Kentucky's going to score a lot of points, but Florida might match them. It might be 24-20, and that's or 24-21, and that's the over.
Yeah, you're right on that. I mean, guess Kentucky's 2-8 in their last over under.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I don't know. My heart says the Gators, but it's in Kentucky too. Maybe they're a different team this year.
Oh wait, this is not what I was thinking. Hang on. Picked a line and it was not the right line. It was a Kentucky Georgia game, and we don't want that yet. We don't want that yet. I don't know how I got there. Trying to find it here. There it is. So Kentucky, Florida. All right. So you got against the spread. So Florida's 1-3, Kentucky's 3-1. Over under, Florida's 0-3-1 in the over under, and Kentucky's 2-2 on the over under currently. So Florida's gone under in 2 games. They have not gone over actually. So they haven't gone over since last November in their games. Something to think about there as well. And then Kentucky over under the last 3 games there. Head to head last year, guys, September 10th. So pretty close, or a few weeks off, but pretty close there. This game was an under 52.5, 26-16 Kentucky result there. So I guess if I'm doing anything, I'm probably taking the under as well in this game.
Maybe I will go under
44.5. I'd still.
It's crazy to think that we're going to take the under on such a low number.
It is, but these teams aren't fast offensively.
Well, Kentucky is much better than they were last year offensively, but Florida has had a lot of questions offensively. Defensively, they've played pretty well. So I think that might balance itself out. So maybe I will take the under. Maybe I'll take some points, but I don't know who I can pick as a winner. I don't know. It's gonna be a very interesting game.
It will be. It will be for sure on that one.
Are you taking the 21.5 points for the Trojans, or are we gonna give some more? Yeah.
Yep. No sense of priming those guys. I mean, look, like I was explaining to people last week, there's a difference of having a bunch of guys that your guys come into play versus, established programs that have good players, scholarship worthy players that have been in the D1, this kind of level, right? Competitiveness level for a couple of years. Oregon's been there. That they were the better team to begin with. They were the better team beyond that, right? It's because you don't have the talent level yet. You got great talent there, but you don't have this kind of talent level at Colorado yet. You had a good game against TCU, who lost a bunch of guys in the first game. You struggle against Colorado State, and that's kind of where your level is right now is Colorado. You're not a USC, Oregon, title contender, right? We're not there at all. You're going to get beat in these games, and it's going to come back to reality here. So yeah, I'm taking the 21.5 because the USC Trojans offense is going to bomb that defense of Colorado.
Well, and not having Travis Hunter is really detrimental for them too.
It hurts too, really bad.
I like the under 73.5 though.
I took what I do? I teased it and I went under 5. I think I told you guys last week. So I ended up hitting that for some plus money.
Yeah, that's a great bet. Oregon took care of business. Whew, that was an
Real
ugly
quick
game to
too.
watch.
Real quick. Yeah.
Clemson, Syracuse.
I
That
like
is,
this game. This is a fun one.
if anything, I'm taking at least +7. I want that comfort of the touchdown.
Well, right now it's 6.5. So you would go to the +7 for it.
I would go to +7. Yeah, I'd be like -110 or -115. I
I
just wanted that. I
I
want that comfort.
Yeah, look, Syracuse didn't look that great last week at all. I don't think so, to the level that they have been playing at. But then
Yeah.
again, now you get a little bit up in the, a little bit more emotion coming in this game, possibly. Early game on Saturday, +6.5. I don't know if I'm buying it. I'm not sure if I'm buying it here. I don't consider Syracuse as one of these top competitive teams for them.
Well,
I think Clemson covers.
well, let's put it this way: if they lose, Clemson's 2-3, and they still got to play Notre Dame, so probably 2-4. Dabo would be, at least his seat would be warm. So I think that they probably actually do get the win here. But is it more than 7 points? I don't know. I really don't know.
It's thing to figure out on that one, but yeah,
I lean more towards the Clemson side, but it's a game I think about. We've had a pretty sharp week, I think, for college football on this Saturday. It's not as comfortable as it was last week. But one game I am comfortable about is Penn State Northwestern. Smashing the under. I'm smashing the under in that game.
Under and the plus. I think the +27 is money too on this one. Penn State, they're just better. They're a good offense. They can go out and attack. We saw what they did against a good Iowa defense last week. And that's a good defense. So I like this +27 going against -27 going against a Northwestern not as good defense.
What's the team total for Northwestern? Because I probably would take the under.
Let's check.
If it's any more than 7, I'm taking the under.
Game props.
Oh, no, nothing yet.
They don't have it out yet. Yep, not out yet.
If it's under 7, I'm taking, or if it's 7 or more, I'm taking the under. Easy. They're not scoring more than the touchdown against Penn State.
I don't think so either. There's another one of the morning slate here: Utah State, Aggies, and UConn. We saw UConn get destroyed already this year. Utah State right now being favored at -6. I think Utah State takes care of business here. UConn's horrendous. Horrendous.
I was kind of on the fence for a while with UConn because their defense was playing somewhat decent. Yeah. But I've lost a lot of faith in them. I mean, -6, you're just saying, is Utah State going to win by a touchdown? I would say yes. And poor Huskies, they might go 0-12 again.
It's not good.
It's unfortunate. But yeah, I would like the -6 here too. I actually do. And if you are doing a parlay, I would just take the money line for Utah State, and then you don't have to worry. And if you're going to parlay it with something else, it's close to double money. So
that's true. I like the over on this one too. Utah State's 3-1 of their over-unders this year already. So I take the over.
I actually like the under because it's at 51.5, and UConn just can't score. They can't score enough points to help Utah State get to that over.
Oh, I think Utah takes care of that for them.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's say it's 42-7. You're still off. That's why it's like tough for me because UConn is so bad offensively.
This might be similar to their second game of the season already this year with Idaho State and score 78. UConn's defense isn't too much better than Idaho State right now. So
this might be another one where I look at the team total for UConn and take the under.
Right? Yeah. As we kind of do that. Let's see here.
A lot of D2 in there.
Tons of D2. Let's see here. I don't like any of that there. I mean, we can get into it real quick here. Let's talk about it.
I'm taking the under 61 for sure.
I am taking the under on the. Actually, I'm probably taking the over in this game.
No, don't do it.
If I go at it, I'm probably taking the over because I do believe that we're going to be able to run the ball on Texas on top of Jalen Daniels maybe getting some few passes in and score. I think we end up scoring at least 24 in this game. Texas would have to score 30, 35, 38. I think it's a little higher score than a lot of us are thinking of. I think the Jayhawks are able to do something this year, unlike last year, where Bijan and Roshan Johnson just demolished us. They don't have that same run game there.
If it was in the 50s, I'd probably take the over, but I just feel comfortable at 61. 31-30.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
think
at minus 105 too, that is pretty much more tempting than over at this point for that one.
Yeah. And I'll probably
Yeah,
tease it and put it to 65 or something, make myself feel even better.
I mean, it's gonna be. I'm excited for that game because it's kind of. I'll tell you where we're at too on that. Let's see here. Any other striker?
Alan thinks that Texas is going to overlook Kansas. They have Oklahoma next week. Very possible.
Nobody cares about Oklahoma, Alan. Nobody cares. Texas don't care about Oklahoma. Texas zero care.
I love let's go back here. Michigan, Nebraska. I think the under is it above? Oh, it's sitting at 40. See, it was above 40.
39.5.
I still almost like the under because Michigan's defense is just so good. But if it's 35-7, you lose that bet. So it's just, man, they're sharp on this one. I like Michigan minus 17, though. I do. Nebraska has not impressed me this year at all. They're not going to keep it close. The defense is just going to smother Nebraska, which is they struggle offensively. Defensively, not horrible, maybe middle of the road in college football. But Michigan's defense is just too otherworldly for them. It's going to be ugly. We kind of saw that against Rutgers, too. Rutgers got that quick touchdown last week against Michigan. Everybody thought, oh, and then Michigan just came out and just smothered them.
Smother them. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. LSU, Ole Miss. You got 2.5 favorite for LSU here. I'm leaning towards the under in this game more than I am the spread. I think LSU covers in this, honestly, but I think I'll go if I'm going to bet something. I'm betting the under.
Yeah, definitely the under. I'm actually surprised it's that high.
That's high.
I think LSU's defense probably keeps Ole Miss at bay, and I think LSU runs the ball. Burns clock, commands that time of possession. And they just don't find a way to get to 68, which would cause you to be a loser. But right. Give me the under, and I actually do think LSU will cover that 2.5. Ole Miss had their chance; they should have beat Alabama, and they screwed the pooch. So
they did screw the pooch. That's for sure. Let's see here.
Give me the under in Oklahoma, Iowa State is at 48.5.
48.5, yeah. I take
Iowa State probably won't even score a touchdown.
That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad there. We already talked Duke here. Here you go. Tennessee, South Carolina. Game here. Minus 12.5 for Tennessee. Over under 63.5. I'm
taking the under. Easy. Anytime these over unders hit over 60, and it's teams that are not USC, these overwhelmingly prolific offenses, I always go with the under because South Carolina's not scoring 30. They might score 20. That means Tennessee's got to put up 40-some points. I just don't see it.
I agree there. South Carolina was over last week against Mississippi State. Of course, there was a right on the money for Tennessee on the 59, so they weren't over or under, but that was 59 there. Head-to-head last year, these guys went over 67, 63-38. South Carolina ended up winning that game on a 23.5 spread.
That was the Malik Hooker injury game, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So some extenuating circumstances with that one.
Yeah, but that was a little bit, but I mean, still, like you can take a little bit there. They went over the previous year as well, at over 57. So I'd probably take the under still on this here. I think it's probably in the 50s, but I don't think they go to quite past 60 here.
Yeah.
So let's take a look here.
It's not
Load.
a lot of marquee games this week.
There is, which is always good to have for a slate coming down to play. Let's see here. Already talked a little bit there. I mean, Alabama, Mississippi State, minus 14.5, over 46.5, over under.
I like the over on that one. I'm surprised it's that low. I guess they just think
That is
Alabama
pretty low.
can't.
But Alabama can't run an offense.
Mississippi State scores a lot of points. I think it could be a 28-21 game. That's 47. Sorry, 49.
Couple late night games. You got Washington, Arizona, over under 67.5 on BetMGM on that one.
Washington has got an insane offense. I actually am kind of nervous about that one. I don't know if I take the under on that one, which is shocking because it's almost at 70, but I think I probably would still, to be honest.
Yeah. 17.5. I'd probably take the 17.5 for Washington on that. And
yeah, they're a scary team.
Nevada, Fresno, 24.5. 49, 50.5.
If I were to lay claim right now to the Pac-12 champion, I think it's the Huskies. I think that they are good enough defensively and offensively. They are right there with teams like USC. They just have an amazing offense.
I think it's Oregon or Washington.
Yeah, I just don't think USC has the defense. All right, Sunday football. What do we do about this early game? In London, or where is it? Germany?
In London.
Oh, it's London? Okay. The London Jags, you got to pretty much take them because that's their hometown.
But do you? Because they didn't look.
They've been looking horrible.
-3. I would probably take it at -3 on that.
Yeah.
Denver. I mean, the crapshoot game. Denver, Chicago. I'm gonna take the under.
I'm not touching it. Way too unreliable. Way too unreliable.
So bad. Baltimore Browns +3. I'd probably. I don't know, man. That's a tough one there. What do they do last?
Just stick with the under. I think in that game, I actually like the Browns. I just think there's a lot of injuries on the Ravens side right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Browns are probably there. Cincinnati. And then Tennessee, I like Cincy in this one a lot. I think -2.5 is perfect. Give me the 2.5. They win by a field goal again.
They're going to pass up a storm against Tennessee. That defense is just atrocious right now.
They look good the first 2 weeks, and then last week, here's your sign. Your sign. Miami. Yeah.
I kind of want the under in the Eagles game.
Eagles game, yeah. 43.5. I wouldn't mind it. Because we saw Washington struggle last week against the Bills. I wouldn't mind seeing another. I think you'll see another struggle with Howell in the under. I'd be okay with that.
They can't run the ball against Philly. That's like what they like to do. So,
yeah. Tampa Saints.
I like the under there too with no Derek Carr.
No Carr. Yeah, I'll take the under. If anything, I might even take the +3.5 at the Bucks.
Yeah, I would too. Actually. I thought the Bucks, I mean, they did get owned by the Eagles, but I thought that they played resiliently enough. They kept it somewhat close. So
yeah.
I was impressed by how not much of a blowout it was.
Yeah. Vikes, Panthers, I got -4. I think that's a pretty easy game here. I think the Vikings pass all over them.
They got to get a win. They've got to win.
It's a must win here for Vikings. So
yeah.
And that Rams, Colts. Anthony Richardson's practicing today with the starters. Sounds like he'll be starting here Sunday. Don't care for the pick'em in this one here. There's a 0, so straight out pick'em for this one. But I like the I don't even know if I like any of these bets. -105 for each money line.
I like the Rams, but I'm not exuberantly confident in it.
I'm probably staying away.
I would take the Rams, but that's an interesting game.
Yeah, that's going to be another probably crapshoot. Steelers, Texans, -3 for the Steelers over the Texans. Give me the +3 in this one. Give me almost the money line with Houston, the way they're playing lately.
Yeah, I think that Houston's defense is going to be a problem for Pittsburgh, who has struggled offensively. I actually like the under in this game as well.
Yeah. Maybe. Raiders Chargers. Obviously, I hate the Raiders, but I hate the Chargers, but I hate the Raiders more. So give me the Chargers. I think the Raiders are bad.
I think
Chargers can put it up even without Mike Williams.
Jimmy G might not play. Give me the 5.5.
Yeah, easy. Cards, Niners. Do we fall into the trap again?
I think it's different. I think that San Francisco is a real team. I don't think they're going to screw the pooch.
Yeah, because you saw Chuck, Coach Chuck Pagano, talk about what happened there in the Cowboys game, and they ran it. Their plan was basically just run it at Micah and disrupt him there, and it worked. I don't think you can do the same with Bosa.
Too well-rounded defense.
Yeah. I think you're looking at a more well-rounded player. If anything, I take the over on 44. In this one here, I think it could be fun early with that, but I think Purdy takes care of business. I'd take the over in this game. Yeah,
I like the over.
Let's see here. Patriots, Cowboys, plus 6.5 right now for Pats, 43.5 area.
I like plus 7 for New England. It was plus 7.
I thought about that hard too, but I'm like, surely they're going to fix some stuff around that running that Parsons stuff,
Just Bill Belichick is going to stymie Prescott on the offensive side of things. I think that's why it's a plus 7 for me for New England.
Gosh, 43.5 is low, but I'd probably take the under in this one too.
I would. Yeah, I like the under too.
And we already talked Chiefs. So. Yeah, we already talked Chiefs Jets in this one here. 9.5, 41.5. I like the over in that game actually, because I think Chiefs put up 30. I think the Jets sneak in a couple touchdowns and call it good.
Yeah, I agree.
We already talked Giants and Seahawks. So
I do like the over 47. I do.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I think so.
Seattle gives up points and the Giants give up points because they can't stop.
Now, guys, next Wednesday, playoff baseball.
That's right. We will
playoff baseball. I actually might be missing the show next Wednesday because I'll be my plan is to get up to Milwaukee and go watch the Brewers Tuesday and Wednesday, come back Thursday. So very, very real chance I won't be here, but you'll still get my picks on this one. But I mean, it's here. It's happening. October 1st is the last game, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if needed for your wild card.
Listen, I can't tell you how excited I am because I've been betting end of season Major League Baseball, and it has been the worst. Because
I stopped.
Either teams give up or they want to beat the better team, like the Braves, for example. They've been screwing the pooch a lot. Like, it has been horrible. Like, just give me playoff baseball, please. Get these teams back to where they should be.
I stopped a month and a half ago because it was literally one of those situations, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm especially if I'm having this much trouble already, I am especially just laying out and wait until football season starts. And also, hockey's back. I don't know if you ever bet hockey. I love betting hockey's last year. I was very profitable in the hockey world.
Yeah, preseason hockey's here. It's gonna be right around the corner. NBA is gonna be back soon too. Yeah. Definitely
we got a lot. College basketball. We're gonna have so much to have to do. We're gonna have to extend this thing to 6 hours, guys.
Yeah, we're definitely talking Major League Baseball next week. Tanner, we should plug. So I'll let you have plug first, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah. You want to just plug our shows? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Catch us later on in the Sports Buffoons, guys. Our final show on Let's Talk Sports Network as I'm changing some stuff around, guys. So excited for it. We'll be focusing on our channel for that show there. We'll be on tonight, sometime between 8:30 and midnight Central. Depends when the Buffoons actually get here to be able to do the show. On top of that, guys, of course, Let's Talk Sports show. Catch us Monday, Thursday, and Sunday mornings. And just keep an eye on the channel. October 1st starts Sunday. Things are starting to ramp up. In case you guys haven't seen my post on Twitter or Facebook, please make sure you email me if you're interested to continue on with the channel post Dan's retirement. Of course, always shout out Dan as we continue to grow your network, what you grew today, and continue to grow this thing and make this thing something big. So that's all I got.
Absolutely. Changes are going to happen, but they're good. So definitely be on the loop. Obviously, my brother, Fantasy Football for the People, has their YouTube channel. We are airing on that every Wednesday. Thursday, The Fantasy Show is also airing there, as well as on Let's Talk Sports. So we're it's like the tree's just growing more branches.
That's right.
Different bloom, but it's all good. But yeah, that's everything we got for this week, folks. Just a little over an hour, so good stuff. Let us know on Twitter if you have any questions. But until then, we will see you next Wednesday.
See you guys.